You always got to be learning. If you want to scale and you want to grow, you always got to be trying to get to the next step there. And I think for a couple of years, I was kind of just comfortable where I was at. And then PaintCon, like I said, it just kind of opened my eyes. I was like, wow, I'm not doing enough.
We have an ad out for PaintCon where Andy's just like ripping. And he says like, your growth like a hockey stick. And people are like, growth like a hockey stick? The coaching programs are only as good as you make it. If you don't take action, if you don't implement, if you don't follow processes and things like that, it's like
the clients aren't going to remember all the step-by-step process of what you're doing to paint their house. They're going to remember how you made them feel. And another big thing too, don't be too money hungry. You want to do a good job for these clients as well. If your quality starts dipping, your sales are going to start to dip too.
What's going on, guys? Lucas Jensen here with the Forward Thinking Podcast. Today I got Tyler Paul from TJP Painting, another Canadian. You know us Canadians friggin' don't play it small, man. So Tyler, dude, how you doing today?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me on, by the way. It's a big honor. I appreciate it and happy to be here, man.
Happy to have you, man. Happy to have you. And I'm saying Canadians don't play it small as I'm repping an American flag. So
that's all right.
Cool, dude.
Right. We'll just draw a little maple leaf on there. We'll be good.
Amen, dude. Amen. Man, so we sent like our whole company, we're fully remote, but a lot of us are like, Canadian based and whatnot, right? Mm-hmm. So I sent merch to our whole team, and the Canadians were like, dude, like, we're a Canadian company. Like, why do we have the American flag? And I'm like, bro, you gotta. A lot of our clients are from the States, dude. So you gotta represent it, man. I was getting roasted one of our last events from our U.S. clients. They're like, this Canadian's repping. He's blending in. You know what I mean? But yeah, bro, gotta love both nations. But dude, Tyler, man, I know you're coming off a huge win. You hit your first 6-figure month. But
hit a couple in a row now. Hit a couple in a row now, which is good.
Insane, dude. Insane. So, man, we had the privilege of meeting last year at PaintCon, and you made that trip solo, dude. Like, you saw probably like an ad, you booked it. You didn't know anybody going except for maybe Justin?
Yeah, no, like I didn't know anyone there. So I actually saw Andy Elliott's ad for it. And, I was hungry to grow, and I never saw a conference based on just painting contractors alone. So I just kind of jumped on it, man. I was like, this will be worth it. I know my networking skills are pretty good. So I just jumped on a plane and just, had faith that it would pay off, and did it ever, man. Holy, like, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. I'm not even just gassing you up. It really changed everything for me and changed my perspective and my mindset on things, because I think I was getting to a point where I was just comfortable being better than most, like, especially in my area. Like, I was doing really well. Like, I was like number one in sales in Sherwin, but a lot of the companies around me are kind of smaller. So I was kind of just almost plateauing myself, being like, I'm good, like, I'm comfy. And then after the PaintCon conference, it really opened my eyes to what could be done and what was possible, and just having that network around me to bounce ideas off of if I ever got stuck. And it's helped us tremendously, man. Like, we're almost at a 60% growth this year from year to date. And, we've over doubled our sales from last year already, and we still got 4 months of the year to go. So it completely changed our whole business around, man. And just having the network of guys that you can talk to and bounce ideas off of that are doing more than what you are, you know what I mean? Like, you always got to be learning. If you want to scale and you want to grow, you always got to be trying to get to the next step there. And I think for a couple of years, I was kind of just comfortable where I was at. And then PaintCon, like I said, it just kind of opened my eyes. I was like, wow, I'm not doing enough. and then after I turned things around, like I said, almost 60% growth already this year, man. It's been crazy.
I love it, dude. And then you're coming back this year. Obviously, you brought one of your team members, both Rod and CEO, which is just super, super cool. But dude, like, obviously, you saw the ad with Andy. You maybe had some things going on in your mind, or like, can I make this event, whatnot? Like, what was like the really like factor that pushed you past and made you say like, all right, dude, like, I'm hitting this event solo? Like, what was that factor for you?
Well, like I said, a lot of the businesses in my area are smaller than me, right? So I couldn't really ask them on how, like, what they did to scale further, like what ideas they were having and stuff like that. Like, I was already doing everything they were doing plus more, So when I saw that ad that it was, a conference tailored towards painting contractors and painting businesses, I was like, I've never seen that before. I've seen conferences built around like entrepreneurship and real estate and all these other avenues of business, but I've never seen one based strictly on painting contractors. So I was like, either I'm gonna get just a nice trip to California out of this, or it's gonna be beneficial as well. Like, so
Yeah,
that's why I
dude.
just kind of
Both
jumped on
one's
it.
a win.
Yeah, exactly. So I just kind of jumped on it. I was like, hey, I'm good at meeting people and getting to know people, and it paid off, man. A lot of the guys from PaintCon last year, I still have them in my contacts. I still talk to them often. We bounce ideas off each other. Even with some of my content, like they're asking me on like content ideas and stuff like that too, and they're way ahead of me. But it's just like just being able to bounce ideas off each other, and everyone has the same drive, same ambition. It just really turned everything around for me, man, and it put another gear, it set me in another gear for sure.
I love that, dude. I love that. What would you say was your, like, obviously the fact, like you said, like place yourself in a room with people like with higher revenue numbers and things like that.
Yep.
What would you say was your like all-time biggest takeaway from it?
All-time biggest takeaway from PaintCon?
Yeah.
Um, that's a good
Like, was
question.
there one speaker that stood out the most? Was there one specific little like golden nugget that kind of popped out and you're like, oh my God, like, boom,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I would say probably day one, Jason Phillips' keynote speech was awesome, and Joel's as well. So Joel, and I think they were back to back, like they were like the first two after yourself, right? And then after those two keynote speeches, I was like, I'm in the right place, man. Like I made the right call to be here. It was just eye opening. The fact that they were running such big businesses, but really they had a team doing most of the work for them at this point. Not that it doesn't take a lot of work to get to that point, and still a lot of work when you get to that point, but just seeing that they're able to run a business of that scale and still have time for their families and still have time to travel and still have time to do stuff for themselves, it just opened my eyes. I was like, man, I feel like I'm drowning and I'm not even close to what they're at. But it was just because I was so unorganized. I was just cowboying it, man. Like, I was just figuring it out as I went. So just being in the room with everyone there just completely changed my whole outlook on business, man. It was just like, wow, I
Love
can
it,
do it,
dude.
and
Yeah.
it just showed me that I could do it too, right? That it was possible, So
Yeah.
if you're an entrepreneur and you have that drive in you, you just, you're a little unorganized, like this is a perfect event to go to, man. Like it just really, really emphasizes everything and just puts you in a good spot to come back to work, come back home and put everything in place and get to work kind of thing, right?
Yeah. 100%, dude. 100%. Man, we have an ad out with, like for PaintCon where Andy's just like repping, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And he says like, people are like making comments about it, but it's like, he's like, your growth like a hockey stick. And people are like, growth like a hockey stick. And to be honest, when he first said that too, like I was in the recording studio with him, I was like, growth like a hockey stick. And then I started sitting on it and I was like, because the angle, right? Like
Yeah,
like if
yeah.
you look at a hockey stick, it's like it's small start and then just launches out. You know what I mean? I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
there it is,
Yeah.
there it is. But dude, so many people are commenting. They're like, growth
What
like
does
a
that
hockey
even
stick.
mean?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I
I
love
thought
it,
he was
man.
just
But
throwing a
yeah,
little
dude, and
Canadian,
you
little
mentioned
Canadian
like
vibe in there.
network. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, I thought he was just throwing a little Canadian vibe in there. Yeah, a little Canadian shot, hockey stick.
Dude, I did too. That's what I was sitting on. I was like, growth like a hockey stick.
Yeah,
But then I was like, there it is. Okay, it makes sense now.
yeah,
But dude, I think you're like one of your fortes, man, is absolutely networking. Like, I mean, you met so many cool people, like not just in the painting industry, but like I know you became like very like close with Noah Prop and
yeah.
Kayla and stuff like that, and you met them there. And dude, they're in the roofing space. Obviously, Kayla's on our team, but they're in the roofing space, and I just like admire your networking skills. But dude, how'd you even get into painting? I'm so curious. It was through Sherwin, right? You were like a rep with Sherwin.
No, so my mom actually got sick when I was younger. So she was sick with Huntington's disease. So my family went down to one income. So my dad never asked for help or anything like that, but I knew I needed to help out. So at that point, I just went out and got a job with Student Works Painting. If you know what the Student Works is kind of like College Pro, similar franchise. But anyway, so I ran a franchise through them for a little bit, just to get a feel for it, learn how to paint, and I didn't know how to paint at all, man. So that summer was a bit of a shit show, learning the ropes and everything like that. Just basically being thrown in the fire, having to learn how to do door-to-door sales, having to learn how to, run a team, having to learn how to quote jobs. StudentWorks helps. They train you and whatnot, but like it's a lot different getting in the field than just reading some modules and things like that, right? So I started with StudentWorks, and then after that, I worked for a couple other different companies. I worked for a company called Wow One Day Painting for a bit, and I was actually the youngest operator for them in North America for 2 years. So I was like a crew lead from when I was 16. No, sorry, from when I was 15 to 17, I was a crew lead for them.
Wow.
And then at 17, I was already running crews for a while, like big scale jobs and stuff like that. So I was pretty comfortable. So at 17, I went off and started my own thing. It was a partnership for a couple of years, and then I went off and actually went off on my own. But it's been 11 years now, man, that I've been off on my own, not working for somebody else. So that's kind of how I got my start into painting.
Love it, dude. Yeah. So, man, Wow One Day, it's the same. For people that don't know, it's the same franchise as 1-800 Got Junk,
Yep.
Shack Shine, a few things like
Yep.
that. So,
Yep.
dude, did you ever meet Brian Scudamore, the CEO?
No, the CEO from he's like the CEO of the whole umbrella company, though,
The
right? Like the whole
whole
thing.
portfolio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I've never met him, but I'm sure he's doing pretty well for himself.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Man,
Yeah,
his story is insane. His story is insane. But,
yeah,
dude, being a crew lead at 15 years old,
yeah.
that
It
must have
was
been a lot
crazy.
of burden.
Yeah, no. So like the first year that I worked for them for a bit, I wasn't a crew lead until probably about 6 months in. Then after 6 months, they need like a crew lead position opened up, and the owner of that franchise really liked me. Like he was showing up on site, seeing my work, and some of the crew members were saying, I was doing well. So he gave me a shot. Not some of the older guys were pretty pissed off about it, but he gave me a shot, and I took the ropes and went with it, man. And the guys started respecting me after a while. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't asking them to do anything that they weren't doing. And all of our jobs were on time, on budget, and it was really stressful. It was really stressful for me at that point in the summers, working, doing that and stuff like that. But that really helped grow my foundation of my knowledge for painting and what can get done in a day and stuff like that. Because some jobs, with them, I feel like they kind of, to get it done in a day, they kind of cut corners a little bit, you know. They just try and get it done in a day. So I don't agree with everything that they do, but it's a good business model, man, to learn how to be efficient with your time and how to manage a crew to get done things
Yeah.
efficiently.
Yeah, yeah, I know they're kind of USP, like their unique selling proposition is pretty interesting. Like get any project done in a day. So,
Yep.
dude, what is like the maximum amount of people you've seen like work on one project
Dude,
while you were there?
I'll tell you, one job, it was a mansion out in like Vaughan, and there was 24 of us there one day. Yeah, dude, it was crazy. 24 of us, ceiling, walls trimmed, the whole house got done in a day. It was nuts.
That's
It was nuts. We got there
insane,
at
dude.
8. We got there at 8 and we were done by like 7 p.m. It was crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was nuts.
24 people. Right,
Dude,
you
we
barely
went
had any
through
freaking wiggle room, dude. Everyone's like
it was
sardines.
crazy, dude. It was crazy. We went through probably like 45 gallons of paint in a day. It was
That's
nuts.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's
it was
crazy, dude.
nuts. Yeah. So
Wow, man.
most
But
of the time,
okay,
most of
so
the time, the crews are around like 4 or 5 people. Most of the time, they'll be around that size, unless it's a smaller scale job. But yeah, there was jobs often where you'd have like upwards of 10 guys on there.
that's
It was
crazy.
it was nuts. Yeah.
What did you see in terms of like efficiency? Obviously, if you're trying to complete a job in a day, it's like not really about optimal,
Yeah.
efficiency and things like that. But in terms of efficiency, when you send a crew to a house, I'm assuming you're not sending 25 people at once, right? So like, how big's like the most optimal crew size that you typically send?
I'd say the optimal crew size is 3 people.
Three
Three
people.
people, four absolute max. Unless you're on like a time crunch to get something done and you have to send more than that, then sure. But I find after when you get more than 3 people, the guys kind of go on top of each other, and a lot of talking gets happening throughout the day where they're shooting the shit and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad thing. It just it slows efficiency down for sure. I find when you have three, you got a crew lead and two guys, a crew lead, a good helper that's pretty experienced, and then like a laborer that's just like doing rolling, cleanup, and things like that the other two guys don't need to be doing. That's the ideal crew size for me these days.
Love it, dude. And how many crews are you at right now?
So I have 12 guys. So what's that? Four crews, 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah,
Four. Yeah.
four crews now. Sometimes, like I said, some jobs where it's on a bit of a time crunch, I'll send upwards of 5 guys there. You know what I mean? But I try not to keep it. I try not to go above 5. Above 5, it gets really hectic. Just based on my experience with WoW and stuff like that, like doing all those jobs with the amount of people, like you can be pretty efficient with it if you're good at it. But it's just, I find when you look at the profit margin after a job, if you send a team of 5 there or a team of 3 there, even if though it takes an extra day or two, it actually ends up being less profit margin more profit margin overall with a smaller team.
Interesting. Very interesting. So, like, what year did you start TJP Painting?
I started TJP, so it was a partnership before, but I actually went off my own TJP at the end of 2019. So yeah, end of 2019, early 2020, somewhere in that range.
Love it, dude. And obviously coming from a student works background, you were heavily focused on traditional marketing, door to door, flyers, things like that. So you started your business, and you probably were trying to build it the same as you built it in student works, right? Traditional door to door, flyers, events, things like that. So you started in 2019, and then boom, 2020 COVID hit. Like, what was that shift like for you?
Honestly, with COVID, so the only thing that was COVID actually grew us. It was crazy. But we weren't doing as many marketing avenues, which was nuts because we were growing without doing as many marketing avenues as we had. So like we weren't doing door to door because of COVID, and things like that. I wasn't going to events because of COVID, so no networking events or anything like that. So really our marketing was based on word of mouth and social media marketing. So then that's when I started really diving into the social media game with that sort of stuff. And I found during COVID, because people were home, not doing anything, not spending money on anything, they were sitting at home. They're like, what can we do to the house? So many people were calling us to paint their house during COVID. And then, I only had one guy at the time. By the end of 2020, I had 4. And then we kind of stuck around 4 for a couple years. And then the last 2 years, I've grown to 12 now over the last 2 years. And honestly, it was after PaintCon that we really grew. Like when I went to PaintCon, I had 6 or maybe 7 at that time. Now I've grown to 12 in less than a year from PaintCon. And I have an office manager starting on Monday as well.
Congratulations.
So I finally got an office admin coming in, which will be nice. Handle all the back end of things. But yeah, dude, your event really, really turned things around for us.
Love it, man. I love it, dude. And look, dude, it's the thing with events, man. It's like there's so many ideas, right? And I always say, like, try to go to events with like 2, maybe 3 things that you're looking to fix. Because if you go there with like 12 different issues, you're obviously not going to get all those 12 issues fixed. And then you're just going to it's going to be like paralysis by analysis, like so many things to fix and you don't know where to start, whatever. If you go with like 2, maximum 3 things that like, hey, I want to fix this, I want to fix this, and I want to fix this. That's really how to get the best ROI from an event. But more so, it's number 2 would be like the network that you build at the event. Because like the event's going to be like 2 days, 3 days, but it's like it's what happens after. Like you're not going to do a complete 180 with your business in 2 days, but it's like the ongoing accountability and just like the resources and the network that you build thereafter. And then number 3 would be like the action you take after, right? Like it's like if it's like coaching programs, dude. It's like the coaching programs are only as good as you make it. If you don't take action, if you don't implement, if you don't follow processes and things like that, it's like, yeah, no crap, you're not going to grow. No crap, things aren't going to change. But if you actually take action, you capitalize on that energy and that motivation and that value you take from events, that's when the real growth happens. And that's exactly what happened to you, dude. Like you're on your way to your first $1 million year. You're rocking and rolling, dude. I love it, man.
Oh, we're gonna hit that million. We're gonna hit that million. Don't you worry about that.
We
All
got a
right.
plaque ready for you, dude. I got it all designed. I just need the
Love
word, man.
that.
I just need the green light.
Love that, dude. Hey, we're gonna get it. We're gonna hit it for sure. I think we're just under 7 right now. So
Just under
we'll,
7.
we'll get there. We'll get there
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, the 8th month, 700K. The last 4 months are going to be obviously very solid for you. I know we just kicked up maybe 2 months ago,
I
officially
think
like
so.
launched. Like yeah,
Yeah.
something around there. I think we in June
Yep.
moved forward, and then got ads launched month or so ago. So
Yep.
that's
And they're
kicking
doing
up.
well,
I know you
man.
got your office manager who's just going to convert the leads and get that to going. I know you're doing a shift of CRMs. Is that what I heard from the
Yeah,
team as
so
well?
yeah, so I'm shifting over to drip jobs now, just from the old CRM that we were using before PaintCon.
Yep.
I've been waiting to do that for a while to switch to drip jobs. I didn't get around to switching it, but we're gonna switch it now. We just got like the production rates dialed in from from good old Aiden Smith, Paint Pro.
Love it, dude.
He
Love it,
he
man.
hooked us up with the production rates, so we're gonna start using drip jobs, and I'm looking forward to it because a lot of guys, it's nothing but good things that you hear from guys about that platform. So
Yeah, yeah, dude, it's so solid, man. When we push all our clients to it, it's just like the automations is a big one, and also like the reporting for us is
yeah,
super solid, you know.
and I
But
mean it's a CRM built by a painter, so
built, yeah, by
you know
painters
what I mean?
for painters, dude. Love,
Yeah.
yeah, it's from Tanner, man. I love that guy. Have you met Tanner in person?
I haven't met him in person, but I know who he is. I know who he is.
Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't
yeah.
met him in
He's
person, but hopefully I get to meet him soon.
yeah, he's coming to PinkCon. His team's sponsored the event. So
Nice,
him and the Drip Josh team are gonna be there, dude. He's really
nice.
cool. You'll love him. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm sure he's a solid guy, man. I heard nothing but
yeah,
good things, especially Joel. Joel talks about him too. Good guy.
yeah. I love Joel too. And you're using Joel as well?
Yep. So I work with Joel now. I meet with him once a week, and he's really turned things around for us as well, man. And he's excited. He loves our branding. He loves our content. It's just a matter of getting these systems dialed in. And he's like, "You guys are gonna take off, man." So he's already projecting 2.5 for next year for us. So
Insane, bro. I love it.
yep.
Yeah, man. I love Joel. I love Joel, dude. I'm a huge believer in what he does and how he services clients and things like that. And
Mm.
yeah, man, he's a beast. So, dude, I know you went through the rebrand,
Hmm.
and I'm so curious, man. What's been like the overall kind of feedback from the market with that rebrand? I think it was what 3 months ago, 4 months ago, you did the rebrand just before the
Yeah, I
summer.
think it was around April, late April, I
April.
believe that
Yeah.
it launched. But yeah, so the idea behind the rebrand was actually from PaintCon. Like a couple of the guys, like I was showing them my branding and things like that. Like, 'cause obviously when I first started, I didn't really want to think much about the brand, about the name. I just wanted to get started. I just wanted to get out there and start getting jobs under my belt and figure it out as I go. So I just threw my initials on there and just called it a day. You know what I mean? So I never changed it since then. I got a buddy of mine to make the logo, and I just like ran with it. But then after networking with some of the guys from PaintCon, they were suggesting like you should rebrand, whether it's changing the name or just changing the branding and the logo and stuff like that. You should rebrand to try and stand out from other people and whatnot. So that's what I got the idea of, like going the mascot route. Was actually from Russell Peach
Yep.
Painting. So I love his branding. So I kind of just ran with that and just put my own spin on it, put my own tweak on it. And the feedback's been crazy, man. Like our followers have grown, I think over 500 followers in the last like 3 months. And we're getting a lot of leads just based on the content. And another thing too, like every time I go into a client's house, they always mention, like I love your marketing, I love your videos, we love your branding, like you stand out from everybody else. And that was my goal. Like there's a lot of painting companies around here, but how can we stand out from above or stand out aside from everybody else? You know what I mean? Like anything that we can do to stand out and make ourselves differentiated from all these other companies, that's what we were gonna do. So that was the whole idea behind the content and the rebrand.
Yeah, dude. Man, when I first saw like your your reels, like I love how you just tap into the humor with it, dude. I was honestly pissing my pants laughing at them,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
Like you have some really funny ones. But
yeah.
man, what was the whole like out of all of the videos, what was
Hmm.
the most fun one to make?
Hey, real quick, before we get back into the video, if you are running a painting, an epoxy, or a concrete coating business and you're saying to yourself right now, Lucas, I am done playing it small. Lucas, I am hungry and I'm ready to grow and I'm ready to scale my business this year, then listen up. If you want my team and I to help you fix that, if you want more qualified leads into your sales pipeline, if you want more high intent appointments into your sales calendar, and if you want more high ticket jobs, shoot me a quick text at 602-833-5079, and I will personally reach out and set up a game plan to help you turn your yearly revenue into your monthly revenue and help you dominate and scale your business right now. I hope you're enjoying the video so far. I appreciate you tuning in, and I look forward to helping you scale your business this year. Let's go.
Out of all the videos, what was the most fun one to make?
I think the one where he's like punching the window. He's punching the window.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
thinking
In the car, the truck.
I will walk 500. That one was hilarious. That was funny. And actually, you know what's funny is we actually came up with that idea, which was funny. Like my videographer sent me that clip. He's like, dude, we got to make a video based around this. So I was trying to think of ways to make a video based on it, and the punching sound like sounded like the beat of that song. So I was like, you know what? Let's try and like karaoke this song and see how it goes. And he's like, all right. Then we just made the video. He sent it to me. I was like, post it. That's gold. I was like, that's hilarious.
Dude, it was
But
so funny, man.
the idea behind the funny thing is another way we can separate from other people. You know, so for example, if I'm going against another company that has their stuff together and they're putting content out there like we are, and they look at their page and they look at our page and they get a few good laughs from our page, they're probably going to lean towards us. You know what I mean? Like, it's just being more personable, you know, kind of built like breaking their guard down a little bit and building rapport with them before I even walk in the door. You know, so a lot of the jobs now when I go to see these clients, they're like, "Oh, you're the guy from the videos. Like, we love your videos." You know, so it's like their guard is already down. You know, they feel like they already know me. They feel like, you know, they're comfortable with our company, but based on our reviews and our content. So that's been huge for us, man. And that was the humor play was more just to separate me from other people as well. I just wanted to do a different spin on things, you know. Like there's obviously the before and after videos, the before and after content. Like those are great. Like I still keep pumping those out, but I just mix in the humor ones here and there to switch it up and, you know, give people a good laugh and that makes people remember the brand. Like a lot of my friends have even said that too. Like their family members and stuff like that are asking about our company because they saw like a funny video about it. You know, they're like, "How's he doing?" Like, "I saw a video the other night. It was hilarious, man." You know, so it's just like more memorable than just like a before and after.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, some of the videos that we've had, like at Ford Media, that we've had perform the best are like those ones, like in humor. Like we did one at the PCA. Where we were offering like this cool giveaway that we were doing, right? And like I had my team stand outside, and I went out and I like whipped a jacket at them.
Yeah.
And I like shut the door like really quick, and then they're like, I got them to like pretend like they're banging on the door, and I was like, You're probably wondering why people are freaking out right now. Let me take it to my booth to show you why, you know? And dude, we got like, I can't remember how much, but like it was probably one of our top performing videos.
Yeah.
Because it's not what you say, it's how you make someone feel.
Exactly.
Right? And that level of engagement, people remember how you made them feel, not the words that you said, right? So leaning in with
100%.
humor, which is a positive emotion, people remember that, and they'll carry on throughout the overall sales process. Like, have you ever seen gosh, I think it's Hyundai in Houston or something like that. It's like a car dealer, and they really kickstarted that whole thing of like there's like a
Funny
bull
type of
running
content?
and a bull hits someone, and then it cuts like a promotion of a guy like smacking a wall. He's like, hey,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, we did one similar for Russell Peach, and
Yep.
I forget what it was, but it ended with him like rolling on the ground.
Yeah.
And it,
Yeah.
like he did like his like get your free quote now kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, we launched it for like 4 to 6 weeks, I would say, but probably like 4 to 6 months later, he kept getting people like, "Oh, you're the guy who was rolling on the floor, right?" You know what I mean? Like it's
See, like those are more memorable than the other ones. They always are. They always
they
are. And it's
always
great.
are, dude.
You hit the nail on the head there, where you were saying it's about how you make them feel and not what you say. It's the same thing with the quoting process, man. Like when you're in there, the clients aren't going to remember all the step-by-step process of what you're doing to paint their house. They're going to remember how you made them feel. Did they feel comfortable with you? Did they like you? If they like you, they're more than likely going to give you the business. As long as you present the value, the price only matters in the absence of value. If you're not
Yeah.
presenting enough value to them, then they're going to question the price. But if you have the value there, you're hitting all the points on what they're looking to have done. They like you, they like your content, they like your reviews. You're more than likely going to land that sale if you make them feel good about it.
Yeah, man. There was like the Jordan Belfort study about like the straight line sales method or whatever, and he's saying like a sale is really broken up into 3 parts. right? So there's the body language, the tone, and then the actual words that you say in a sale that help like convert or not, right? So the body language is like 45%, the tone is like 45%, and then 10% is the words that you actually say, right? So it's like as long as you make someone feel good and you have like nice and confident body language, you're not coming to across like aggressive and things like that, and you're actually like making them feel comfortable and things like that, then the words that you say don't matter as much as long as you don't say like stupid stuff. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
Right? But like it's so interesting. So
Yeah.
like, man, talk to me about your quoting process. So like start to finish, how do you kind of exhibit that emotional, like make them feel good rather than, you know, the whole like hard sell kind of style?
Yeah. So even before so PaintCon completely switched my whole sales process as well. That really opened my eyes that I was doing it really old school. I would still go in and so basically from the start, I'll tell you how I did it before PaintCon, then how I did it after. Before PaintCon, we'd get the call or whatever. I'd set up the estimate. I'd go see it, try and build a bit of rapport with them in person, take the measurements, and then I'd go home, put the quote together, email it to them. My close rate was still decent, but it wasn't near what it is now. Now, what we do is we do the setup call. So we actually make sure that we're vetting these clients before we even go out to the job. So we're not wasting our time, not wasting their time. So we vet them. We make sure that they have the husband and wife both home at the same time, so that you're minimizing the objections you're going to get on the spot. So the objection of, oh, I need to talk to my husband, or I need to talk to my wife. That objection's gone on the spot. As long as you make sure that we're planning a time that works for both of them to be on site, and you can walk them through the job and walk them through the process, that objection is gone. So after we get to the house, I'll walk them through, make sure see what exactly they're looking to have done. I'll point out areas of concern, if there's some like cracking in the tape lines, or if there's some patchwork to do, I'll point out stuff in the walkthrough. So I'm building out the value throughout the walkthrough, you know what I mean? And another thing that I like to do to try and build rapport is if I'm walking through the house and I see some sports memorabilia, or I see like some travel pictures of somewhere I've been before, I'll try and bring those sort of things up in conversation, so that the whole appointment is not just talking about paint. You want to try and build some rapport with them too, right? So talk about their favorite sports team. I went to a game last year, man. Like, they're looking good. Like stuff like that, to just try and get the conversation kind of away from painting, and you're just building rapport with them, like just like you're there as a friend of theirs, is huge, because then you're making them feel more comfortable. Their guard's starting to come down, and they're going to tell you their true objections around anything that they have when you actually present the price to them. So after we do the walkthrough, we get all the measurements. I give them our client manual. So I have a whole client manual with like before and after pictures, our liability insurance, our WSIB, our give back program, all that stuff is in a client manual. So while I'm in the truck for 20, 30 minutes putting the quote together, they're flipping through this client manual, seeing, everything about the company. Then when I go back in, I'll sit down at the table with them, go through the whole scope with them, go through the whole, everything that we're doing, and then present the price to them. And then on the spot, depending on what objections they come up with, try and overcome those objections. But if you get 2 no's, I usually you don't want to be too pushy, right? Because if you be too pushy, then you're going to lose the sale. So after if they say no a couple times, then I'll just, no problem, I'll email the quote, and I'll schedule a follow-up call with them before I leave the house. So I'll be like, is there a time we can schedule a call to go over the estimate, depending on if they have like a couple other quotes they're getting or something like that. We'll book a follow-up call with them in a few days, kind of thing. And another thing that we do to try and close them on the spot is we offer a 10% off incentive, a production scheduling incentive, which they know about on the phone, that we make them aware of on the setup call. So typically clients, what they do when they hear that you're going to offer them a 10% off incentive on the spot, you'll be the last quote in there. Like, they'll schedule you so that you're the last quote, so that they have all the other pricings, and they can make a decision on your price if they like you more than the other quotes that they've got, kind of thing. And then that 10% off incentive, it really helps. It does. You know what I mean? Like, on a big project, you're quoting a $10,000 job, 10% is $1,000. So that's a decent amount right there. You know what I'm saying? So, so that helps with closing sales quite a bit, and on the setup call too. And it kind of just avoids avoids that conflict of them being like, oh, we're getting other quotes and stuff like that. If you do that setup call and vet with them and ask to be like the last company that comes in, you know what I mean? That's typically what we do.
Yeah, yeah. The pre-frame to the sale is like one of the most important parts, right? You qualify them so you don't waste your own time.
Yep.
You kind of work through objections before they actually come objections and close
Yep.
that gap. Man, one of our clients, Nick, what he does is for cabinets. Like when clients are like they don't want to move forward, and he doesn't want to come across too pushy and things like that. If he's selling cabinets, he'll actually leave a sample of the cabinet where you have like the line through it to show like the
Yeah,
original
yeah.
compared to like the painted version. And he'll actually leave them a sample and be like, what, keep this, think on it for 2-3 days. I'll come back. We'll have like a little follow-up meeting instead
Yeah.
of like a phone call. Because like as long as you can get in front of the person another time, that increases the conversion rates. But if you
Yep.
can't, they might not answer the phone, or they might not this or whatever. But you'll always
Yep.
have a reason to come and pick up that cabinet, and then you can reconvert.
100%.
So
Great idea.
yeah, and it just gives them something to like hold on to, and it's more noticeable. Like the folder, and leaving them with the folder is awesome. But like an actual like image of what they could possibly have.
Yep.
Man, he was telling me he does that. I was like, that is so smart. Like,
It's
that
smart.
is such a good play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is, because then you get back in front of them, and then if they have more objections or more questions for you, you can answer it in person. You know what I mean? It's a lot easier to deal with objections and deal with people in person than
Yeah.
it is over the phone.
Yeah.
You
Because
know?
that exchange of energy, right? Like over the
Yep.
phone, something might be
And
misconstrued or
you
whatever.
read in body language and things like that too. You know what I mean? When you get good at quoting, you can kind of tell when someone's like, "Ugh," or they kind of have like some sticker shock or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't really tell that over the phone.
Yeah.
So it's definitely the play to go in person for sure. It's a great idea.
Yeah, dude. I love it, man. I love it. And dude, like obviously, you're doing this whole content push, and you're doing all like, this rebrand and things like that. This year you're hitting 1 million. Next year you're gonna hit 2.5. But like, if you pull back the curtains, what is like the real reason that you're building this business? Like, what's your why?
My why was, I wanted to. So when I grew up with my mom being sick and stuff like that, my dad did a great job. He did a great job. He gave me everything I wanted and stuff like that. But there was always that, you always kind of knew in the back of your head that there was kind of maybe some money issues going on, or some struggling happening and stuff like that. He would do a really good job at hiding it, but you could kind of tell as you grew up, you would kind of see these things. So for me, it was like, I don't want that to happen to me or my family, whether my wife gets sick or whether I get sick. You know what I mean? I wanted to have an asset that was paying us good money, that we could live a good lavish life and not worry about money and things like that. And another thing, a huge reason for me was, on my come up, I worked for some assholes. I worked for some guys that I didn't like going into work. I would wake up and dread going into work, but I had to go. I had to go make my money. I had to go pay my bills, which I feel like a lot of people are in the same boat as that. So for me, I was like, if I could build my own company where I could have a good amount of employees, a good amount of staff, and give them a really good work environment where they enjoy coming into work. They're enjoying their environment. They're not dreading coming into work. It doesn't feel like a 9 to 5 to them. They feel like they're building something with me. That was huge for me. And that's another reason why we've been able to scale, is because I don't have a lot of turnover. Like, once I get someone on my team, they usually stick around because we pay well and we treat them well. So that's huge for me, is just giving a good work environment for people, and to also down the road just not have to worry about any of that. You know what I mean? Give my kids the best life that I can, and have freedom for myself too, where I'm not slaving away my whole life, and not getting to go to my sons or daughters' practices or games or events or whatever they have going on. Like, I want to make sure that I'm there and be there for that stuff. So I knew working like a long 9 to 5, it probably wouldn't be ideal to be able to do all the stuff that I wanted to do in life. So I was like, you know what? Just gonna bite the bullet and jump in and jump 2 feet in and just figure it out on my way, dude. And honestly, it was going all right. And then once I went to PaintCon, it completely shifted a whole nother gear in me, dude. It was just, honestly, it really did.
Love that, man. I love
Yeah.
that. And you mentioned like in your sales process, you talk about like a give back kind of situation, right? Can you walk me through what that is?
Yeah. So every job we give back $25 to the Huntington Society of Canada, which is my mom had Huntington's disease, so it's just it's basically like the cancer society for Huntington's disease. So every job we give back $25 every job. So last year it worked out to be close to $5,000 that we gave back.
Wow.
This year it'll probably be upwards of 12, 15 grand that we're gonna give to them. You know what I mean? So just $25 on each job, it works out to be a lot near the end of the year. You know what I mean? And we also do other incentives too. Like we do a walk every year that I run for my mom and stuff like that. And
The walk for Donna, right?
yeah, yeah. And Noah and Kayla actually came down for that. They
love
drove
it,
down
man.
for that. Yeah. But that walk's been really successful. Like the last 4 years, we've probably raised close to $200,000, man. So yeah. So that's a little bit about what we do for our give back. So that and we sponsor other. I sponsored my like local rep football team that I played on growing up. So that was kind of surreal moment for me going to one of those games and seeing our new branding everywhere around the stadium. It was pretty cool. A full circle moment for me. I was like, I used to play on that field. You know what I mean? So it was kind of a full circle that my company was sponsoring them to make sure they got all the equipment they needed and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, when we give back to as much as we possibly can, you know what I mean? And another event that we do is we give back to Port Perry. There's an event, a walk in Port Perry that does for like being able to raise money to give dog guides to people that need them, so they don't have to pay for them. They get trained and get all their training and everything like that, and they get sent to a patient that actually needs a dog guide with them and stuff like that. So that's another thing that we do. So it's just about giving back as much as I can. You know what I mean? Is if I can, I'm gonna give back.
Yeah, I love that, man. I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, like that's something I obviously want to like lean into a lot more. Like one of my goals for the start of, like at the start of the year was like volunteer monthly, like some type of volunteering, whether that's like food banks or whatever, right? Some type of volunteering thing. But I also wanted to have like an initiative for like some type of charity or organization, just to have that give back situation, because like, it's fun building a business. It's so fun, employing really cool people and working with really, really cool people. And obviously, the financial freedom's a great component of that, but you got to keep grounded. And you got to
100%.
keep your head on, on track, and just always give back and find some way of giving back and leaning into that. So yeah, man,
100%.
I love that you do that. I love that you do that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, you know what I mean? And I find a lot of guys, when they get into business and stuff, they let their ego get in the way too much. They feel like they're better than their employees, or they're better than their team members, or I'm not better than anyone on my team. I just have a different role. We all have a role to do. We all have, we all got to do a good job for the clients to be able to scale. And, that's why I haven't had an issue with turnover. The guys feel like they're a part of the team. They feel like they're a part of TJP. They're building it with me, not for me. You know what I'm saying? So it just having that culture is huge for me. I don't want guys to feel like they're less than me, or they're like, all I did was just work hard to build a brand. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not any better than anyone else out there. Anyone can do it if they put the work in and they work hard and they put the right systems in place, get around people like yourself and others at PaintCon and stuff like that. It's just, don't let your ego get in the way. That's the biggest issue I find with a lot of businesses that I see crash and burn eventually, is they let their ego get in the way, and then team members don't want to work for them, and they have a tough time letting go of the reins as well. They want to do everything themselves. So it's just impossible to scale that way. It's impossible.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I absolutely agree, man. I read this book. I don't know if you've read it. It's called Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday.
I've heard of it. I haven't read it yet, but I definitely should.
It's really good, dude. It's really good. It's like on kind of like the stoicism side.
Yep.
It's a super, super solid book, man. Like and it's absolutely true though. Ego is the enemy. Like your ego is like anything that like essentially is bad that's happening, like employee churn or like you're not hitting sales things. It's a lot of it is based on ego. You know what I mean? Man, I was reading that book and I was just like, I'm a pen and paper kind of guy, right? So like I highlight and circle.
Take notes.
Like
Yeah.
This book is lit up like a freaking Christmas tree, dude. It's crazy, but
That's good.
yeah,
though.
man, I
That's
love
good
it.
though,
And
man.
Let,
it's
let, I want to ask you one last question here, Tyler.
of course.
So, man, you started this in 2019, right? Before
Yep.
that, you had a lot of experience with StudentWorks, with Wow One Day, and then obviously, your own thing. Dude, if you could tell 2019 Tyler just one single piece of advice, what would it be?
Hey, real quick, before we get back into the video, if you are running a painting, an epoxy, or a concrete coating business, and you're saying to yourself right now, Lucas, I am done playing it small. Lucas, I am hungry and I'm ready to grow and I'm ready to scale my business this year, then listen up. If you want my team and I to help you fix that, if you want more qualified leads into your sales pipeline, if you want more high intent appointments into your sales calendar, and if you want more high ticket jobs, shoot me a quick text at 602-833-5079, and I will personally reach out and set up a game plan to help you turn your yearly revenue into your monthly revenue and help you dominate and scale your business right now. I hope you're enjoying the video so far. I appreciate you tuning in, and I look forward to helping you scale your business this year. Let's go.
Don't take advice from people you wouldn't, or sorry, don't take criticism from people you wouldn't take advice from. That's the biggest piece of advice that I've got on this journey. In the beginning, I had a lot of friends telling me, I think you should go to university, man. And then, when you're done university, you get that degree, you can try your own business then and stuff. I had a lot of people in my ear telling me that. And for me, it was like, I don't have time to do that. You know what I mean? My family needs me. I need to be supportive to them. And I got to start building now, and now they come back to me and they're like, how did you do it? Well, how I did it was every weekend you guys were partying at university, I was busting my ass on the doors, or I was on a paintbrush or doing something with the business. It takes a lot of sacrifice, it takes a lot of hard work, but anyone can do it, man. As long as you have that belief in your head, belief is a huge thing, especially when you get in those valleys in business. I'm sure you know all about those. When you get in those valleys and it's a dark place and you don't have a lot of people around you, that's where leaders are built, man. That's where the vision is built. That's where everything is built. When no one sees the vision but you, that is where you're built, and then your foundation starts growing from there,
Yeah,
So
dude.
that's the biggest piece of advice I got. Don't take criticism from people you wouldn't take advice from.
I love that.
If it's someone that you're not going to take advice from, why are you listening to their criticism?
Yeah.
Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Where are that? People that are successful in life and people that are doing well in life, they do not have the time to put down somebody else. Anyone that's successful and doing well in life, for example, PaintCon is a huge example of that. There is so many guys there that are doing exponential numbers. And then there's guys that are kind of smaller, but we all mesh together like no problem. You know what I'm saying? Because those guys have no egos. They have no problem helping the smaller guy because they were there once. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that's huge. You need to get around guys that are not, you don't want a yes man. Don't get me wrong. You don't want a guy that's like telling you yes all the time. Like, you're doing great, you're
Cheerleader.
doing awesome.
You want
Like,
cheerleader.
yeah, exactly. You don't want that. But again, you also don't want someone that's just shitting on you for trying. So it's like,
Yeah.
why listen to somebody like that? So that would be the biggest piece of advice I could give to my 19-year-old self.
I love that, dude. I love that, man. That's huge. That's huge. And like, what I love to do is like, when I'm feeling cocky and I'm feeling like my ego's getting the best of me and things like that, dude, I love putting myself in a room of people that make my dreams look small. You know what I mean? Because it's so humbling. Like, dude, if your goal is like 10 million a year and you're like feeling good because you're like 7 million, 8 million, whatever. And then you start hanging out with people that are doing like 100 million. And they're like, dude, like 10 million would be a terrible month for us. You know what I mean? You're like,
Yeah,
oh,
terrible month is the key word there. You're
exactly,
looking
bro.
for a year of that, which is crazy. Yeah, that was me at PaintCon, dude. It was like, holy shit, I thought I was doing well. Nope. Not in
Dude,
comparison. Like, don't get me wrong, like, you're doing well. Don't get me wrong, but in comparison to the other guys that were there, it was like, wow. I don't know how to get there, but I'm gonna get there with these guys' help. Like, I was like determined after that weekend. I was like, all right, let's strap in and get to work here. So, and it's paid off. It's paid off, man. We're gonna hit 1 million this year for sure.
dude, you're gonna smash it, man. You're gonna smash it. And I love the team that you're building. I love the culture that you're building. I love what you're doing, man. With the the giving back, the walk for Donna. Like, It's really beautiful, dude. And you could tell like you're building this business and you're doing it for the right reasons, man. You're not doing it just for a financial gain, but you have other things that are helping you grow. And
Yep.
that level of purpose is what's really gonna like, make you catapult, dude. It's gonna be so, like Joel's saying 2.5, man. I'm saying you're gonna go above.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I think so too.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
appreciate
bro.
you, brother. With your guys' help for sure. Man, I've been drowning in them.
Not as of Monday, dude, with the office manager starting, bro.
I
Come on.
know. I know. It's been crazy. I was like, holy shit. All right.
Lock and
It's
load,
been great,
dude.
man. It's been great. We appreciate you guys. You guys have done a lot for us, and you're running a great company yourself, man. You should be really proud of yourself, honestly. And the PaintCon community you built, like, seriously, it's changed a lot of people's lives, not just me. I guarantee you, everyone that was at that conference last year, they have had a shift in their life. I guarantee that, man. So you should be really proud of yourself.
Appreciate you, man. It's blessed. Like, I'm so blessed, dude. Like I tell people, like, they're like, why'd you go into events and things like that? And I was like, honestly, man, I built this business on two things: is results and relationships. But what doesn't check my box is we're fully remote. I love hanging out with people, dude. I love,
Yeah.
like, like you were saying, like when you're on a sale, that in-person exchange is like invaluable. It's like the same thing for me,
Huge.
dude. It's just like I love hanging out with people that push me to be a better person, and you just feel that energy and that synergy, and you just like, so that's why I was like, PaintCon is results, relationships, and it's a community, right? Like
Yeah.
it's literally its own community. And I
It's a
want to surround
brilliant idea,
myself.
man. It's a brilliant idea, honestly.
Thank you,
You've
dude.
done well with it, and it's gonna grow big, man. Like I see this conference growing like huge, like a Grant Cardone type shit, where you're in like a stadium in front of people. I'm not kidding, dude. Seriously, the energy you feel from like the conference last year, just the energy alone, not only the value that you're getting from everybody, but just being in the same room, like you're saying, with all these guys that are doing well, and just getting that energy, getting that vibe from everybody, it just makes you want to be better. It makes you want to go back home and be like, all right, what do I need to do, and how do I need to do it? You know what I mean? Let me check back to my PaintCon notes. All right, let's do this. You know? So it's just like it's a huge event, bro. I'm not even just pumping your tires, gassing you up. Like it really did change a lot of things for me, and I know it did for a lot of other people too. So I can't thank you enough, brother.
That's why we do it, brother. Appreciate you, man. And
Of course.
seriously, dude, I'm so grateful you took that leap and you came and you pulled the trigger and you showed up. And obviously coming back now, you're gonna have all this new network that you met last year. It's just gonna keep developing and developing and developing. And it's just
Exactly.
like, dude, you're gonna go so freaking far, man. I'm so excited for you, Tyler.
Yeah, and to anyone watching this too, thinking about going to PaintCon, you don't know anybody there, do it. Just do it, man. I didn't know anybody, and now like this year, I feel like I'm gonna be a part of the boys. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a part of the crew already. You know what I mean? Like talking to Russell, talking to Joel, talking to Brad Ellison, talking to Nick Kelly, talking to Spencer Hayward, like Ron Adams, talking to all these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like it's been huge for us, and it's great to have those guys in your corner. So I
Amen, dude.
appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you
Yes,
so much
sir.
for the podcast, man. You're an
Sure.
absolute beast. If you can give, I know you gave your piece of advice for 2019, Tyler. If you
Yep.
can give the piece of advice for one person trying to get their first $1 million year, what would it be?
Do the work. Put your head down and do the work, man. You know what I mean? Like there always can be something that you can do. Whether it be, if you didn't get that many sales during the week, go out on the weekend, go hit doors. Don't be too egotistical to not get out there and hit doors yourself, or go to an event, go to a networking event. You know what I mean? Like there's so many different avenues that you can do to increase your sales. So like do everything that you possibly can. Door knockers on every site. Do 15 to 20 each way from that your job site that day. Put a lawn sign out front. Put a lawn sign on the corner of the main intersection near your job that day too. There's so many things that you can do to gain more clients and gain more traction. And another big thing too, don't be too money hungry. You want to do a good job for these clients as well. If your quality starts dipping, your sales are going to start to dip too, because then not a lot of people are referring you. Not a lot of people. You got to make sure every job you're doing a good job, whether that be the odd job here and there. Maybe you have to lose a little bit of money to do a really good job for them. It is what it is. For the long term play, it's going to pay off. You know what I mean? So do a good job and do the work. Don't be too egotistical to go and hit doors or go to an event or anything that you can do to gain network and gain connections. Do it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I love that one about the quality. I mean, a reputation, it comes in drips and leaves in buckets. So it's like
Well, dude,
you gotta
you
correct
can
that.
lose your reputation like that. Building a reputation takes a long time, but you can lose it in a matter of one job. You
Yeah,
know,
dude.
you do a really bad job on one job, they blast you all over the internet, and it goes viral or something, you're screwed.
Yeah, and
You
it's
know,
good
so
luck
it's
advertising.
yeah, 100%. So it's
Yeah.
just every job that you take on, don't just think about the money. You do a good job for those people and make sure that they're, you know, that they feel like it was worthwhile to pay the money that they did to have you come into their home and do a service for them. You know what I mean? And then if you do a good job, like I said, price only matters in the absence of value. They're going to refer you whether your price was the highest or the lowest. Like, you know what I mean? They're going to refer you if you do a good job.
Love
And
it,
make
bro.
sure your price isn't the lowest.
Yeah. Oh, I love it, dude. Man, Tyler, you're a beast, bro. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on here. And
Honor,
dude,
man.
if anyone wants to reach you, they can do so. Oh, also, if anyone wants to see all the content that you've been reaching or that you've been posting and freaking crushing with, how can they reach you, dude?
Yeah, so just we're TJP Painting on Instagram, on Facebook. Take a look at us on there. There's some funny content that you can take for your business and stuff like that. And then yeah, if anyone has questions or anything, they can reach me at my phone number, man, on our website. So just go to tjprenovations.com. My phone number's on there. My email.
Love it, dude. Appreciate you, man. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I can't wait to see you in November. Lock and load, bro.